I wanted to say a few words about our wonderful and glorious Canadian composers. I've just released a new CD, or not myself, Centrediscs at the Canadian Music Centre has released a new CD, concerto CD. I've recorded 8 piano concerti. There are a couple more to come. And this one's called Tapestries. And it features a very unusual concerto by George Fiala called Concerto Cantata for piano, opera chorus, and chimes. It's a long piece, and I premiered it at Roy Thompson Hall. And it's a wonderful, wonderful piece of music that I had totally forgotten about, and wonderful radio producer David Yeager found it in the archives and decided that, yeah, we should put it out. A very unusual work, as I said. The piano writing is thick, Brahmsian, like Rachmaninoff, so very enjoyable by general audiences. You don't have to be a new music fan to like it. Paired with that is Piano Concerto No. 2 by Heather Schmidt, and I like to put a plug in for Canadian women composers. She wrote that concerto for me, and I'm playing it with the Kitchener-Waterloo Symphony Orchestra. So that'll be available November 2nd, the Canadian Music Centre and Centrediscs. And the other CDs include 3 concerti, which is this one, and it has 3 piano concerti by well-known Canadian women. Alexina Louis, who is really prominent in musical circles everywhere in Canada, and her concerto I played with the National Arts Centre Orchestra with her husband Alex Pauk, the conductor. Violet Archer, her piano concerto that was called the best piano concerto written in 20th century by, I think, an American journalist in 1958. And this concerto, I premiered it in Canada, I don't know, 1981 or so, a long time ago. And this one's with the Vancouver Chamber Orchestra and Sir John Eliot Gardner, conductor. And then Larissa Kuzmenko wrote me a piano concerto, and it's on this CD with the Toronto Symphony, Jukka-Pekka Saraste, and it received a Juno nomination. It's actually my second Juno nomination for a CD. So, yay, Canadian women. The other CD that is quite unusual is Eclipse. And it is by David Mott, and it was written for me and a world ensemble to open the Accolade Center at York University. Now, what makes this very interesting, other than the wonderful music, is the fact that David Mott is a good friend of Steve McLean, who is an astronaut now, I think the head of the Canadian Space Agency. But in 93, 94, he took the first CD up into outer space, one of David Mott's compositions, and Alexina Louis' Starfeld Night that she wrote for me on a previous CD. So that debuted in outer space on the Challenger. And this piano concerto debuted on the shuttle Atlantis in 2006. The first movement is more world music and has Suba Shankaran and vocals and the tabla and lots of interesting instruments, oud, and so forth. The second movement is the one that Steve McLean liked, and it's more kind of an improvisatory, spacey-like piece of music, and the third is really jazz. So it's a very interesting piano concerto. Another wonderful composer is Glenn Buhr, and I recorded this on CBC Records a number of years ago, and this with the Winnipeg Symphony and Bramwell Tovey. That particular CD and concerto by Glenn Buhr was also nominated for a Juno, and I wish we would get more performances. And another CD that I did was with the Taipei Symphony Orchestra and Victor Feldbrell, and it's Healy Willen, who wrote a wonderful piano concerto, just very Rachmaninoff-like, but in the best sense. And that was performed in Taipei as I said, in the big Chiang Kai-shek auditorium. Very exciting in a fabulous Steinway. So these are just a few of the concerti that I've recorded by Canadian composers that should be played much more. We need to give credit to our Canadian composers.